G'day! In today's video I'm going to be having a look at the Thermaltake V200 TG. Comes with a 500 watt power supply, which I'll be swiftly removing. But this one is the RGB edition. So what I'm going to be putting in here is a Gigabyte B450 DS3H Wi-Fi edition. Definitely worth paying a little more, purely for this little fella right here. Some Corsair Dominator 3600 MHz RAM. I believe it's CL18. GTX 1660 Super is also going in there. And the Ryzen chip that we've got is a 1600 AF. Let's get this open. So looking at it, doesn't look too bad at all. Another stereotypical glass box. Power supply exposed. Non-RGB fan at the rear. 1, 2, 3 RGB fans at the front. Tempered glass. And over here we have plastic. Looking on the top, we have plenty of room. Spots for more fans. Good old magnetic dust filter. Seems to be fairly standard on the cheaper Thermaltakes. And then I/O, power, reset, LED control, USB, USB 3. And looking at it on the back, we just have standard metal. So looking at the inside, I'd say this chassis once upon a time could support a 5 1/4 bay drive. The usual fans here. Looking at here, there is a decent gap behind here to hide your cables. So that's what I will be doing, as most people will do. Looking here, see the standard power supply. Looking over here, we have this other little ledge down here, which at first I thought it's a weird double sleeve. But if we spin it around, which see all the usual here. If we spin it around, we have two 3.5 inch bay drives, which I don't mind at all. A couple of extra spots for 2.5 inch drives. And looking over here, we have the RGB controller, which I'm not sure if it supports ARGB, but I'll find out soon enough. So now I've got it all connected up. I believe it's all in the right space, or right correct space and locations. We have a look here. But anyway, one of my little nitpicks were when I actually put this back together, or assembled this. One, there's no riser thread here at all on the back, so you've got this one empty hole. Two, the ARGB cable is very sloppy. So that's been plugged in, but it still feels like it'd tug itself out and just yank the cord slightly and away it will come out. So that's a bit underwhelming. As a positive, these pulled out quite easily, bending it back and forward about 3 times and they snapped off perfectly fine. Sadly, there's nowhere really to route these cables here, unless you put it under the motherboard, but even still, there's the removable brackets for the SSDs. So I'll just show you that now. So if we go around to the back, we have the 2 SSD slots, or adapters here, which means we can't actually put a screw or actually feed any cables underneath to hide them really well. Up here, do like the little clamp up here, that's kind of cool. Do like the access to the back of the I/O. I do believe that these back braces should be adhered on at the factory. Yeah, so no spot here for the actual riser screw, as you can see here. Looks like some extra room for more SSDs potentially here. I'm not too sure what's going on there. And with the front panel headers connectors up here, we've got the standard 4 of them: reset, hard drive, reset, power, hard drive activity, and LED. There's an extra one coming off. This one, simply called LED, which I'm leaning towards is for this, but I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, I'll continue putting this back together. So I've just finished reassembling it, and one thing I didn't notice when I first took it apart is how the tempered glass is held on. So looking up close here, we can see that there's not a little mount in there. The screw itself pushes in and holds it together, which means putting it in on an upright position is a little bit harder, I find, than if it was the alternative method that I see, where there's a barb on the actual case that pushes out just slightly and the glass sits over, pushes up and over it, where this is actually the screw locating the glass as it screws in, which I'm not too much of a fan of. There we go, tying them all up. So later on, the tempered glass plastic will be taken off. But for now, one fully assembled machine using the Thermaltake V200 TG RGB. Anyway, that'll do for today. Bye.